live on Facebook Live from this camera. Aimee is right here. And let me see if we can do this without knocking anything offline or anything. So this is me going on record that it's not me that's a complete idiot when I do classes. That Courtney is a professional. She works in Hollywood, and none of the cameras are working in here. So we're trying to do the interview for Aimee. She has to get to work. She does hair. She's the hair fairy. So here's the hair fairy right here. Everybody hears me talk about the hair fairy. She's amazing at hair. You need to get your hair done. Call Aimee. But today, Courtney is going to ask Aimee questions from like behind the camera. Here's Courtney, frustrated as all hell. Literally see her higher self with like a knife in her hand going, because she's like super perfectionist. Like everything has to be perfect. And right now, I've just come to realize that with electronics and trying to get light out into the world, it just doesn't happen because like Aimee was like, I see tentacles everywhere, like right before we turn this on. So Courtney, why don't you just like ask Aimee questions? I will move out of the way, or I'll just sit over here out of the camera and just ask her some questions, and then we'll do like the real interview because Aimee has to get to work because we just fumbled with the cameras for an hour or 30 minutes.
I mean, I think first let's just tell us a little bit about your story so we know what we're going to talk about and what everyone's going to see. You started to tell me you grew up Jehovah's Witness.
Yes, so I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, third generation. My grandparents, years ago, someone came to their door and they made sense to them, and it started from there. I grew up that way for 23 years. Got married at 19 to my childhood sweetheart that was also a Jehovah's Witness. Got pregnant, had my daughter, and then I got disfellowshipped out of the church. And for anyone that doesn't know what that means, it's basically excommunicated. Her dad and I both did because we got divorced and for some other reasons. And when that happens, you're cut off from your family and all your friends that you grew up with. So you're basically left by yourself to mend your relationship with God and repent and all those things. And that's it. You're just kind of cut off from everything.
So why were you cut off? Why were you?
So they don't really believe in divorce. They do, but their only scriptural grounds are adultery. And so he and I both were in other relationships after we separated, and because of that was why we were disfellowshipped. He chose to go back. I didn't. I knew from a young age it wasn't for me, but I can never say anything because you're not allowed to really speak your mind. You're not allowed to research anything beyond their publications, and if you do, you can literally get in trouble. And so I just lived my life that way for years, and then when I got disfellowshipped, I was kind of left on my own to kind of discover who I really was, what I really wanted. And you know, fast forward a few years down the road, I got married again to somebody that was not a Jehovah's Witness. I was in an abusive marriage for a few years, and that's when I met Marissa. And so I took her Reiki. I did a session with her and was just blown away. It just opened my eyes to so many things. And so through that, I've done a lot of her classes and, you know, started working with her, and I'm kind of on my journey to, I guess, rediscovering where I want to be, who I am, and kind of being out in the real world after being kind of sheltered that way for so many years. It's taken a lot of adjusting and gotten me into a lot of bad situations, bad relationships. You don't know why, and you have these cords tied to that kind of upbringing, and kind of not understanding where that came from and kind of how to cut that is what I've been working on with her a lot. And yeah, so this is just kind of my journey and my discovery on what now is going to be coming next for me. And hopefully my hope is to be able to help other people like me and to kind of everyone support each other in growing and learning about ourselves, and to not feel shame anymore for what we've experienced because of that kind of traumatic upbringing in a sense, you know, but also put a positive spin on it. It's easy to be angry about those things, and I'm not, you know, you're hurt a little bit, but it's kind of more exciting to move forward and kind of get past all that and help other people.
So one of the things that I've been working on, Aimee, with is relationships and getting into relationships with like really scary men, right? Yeah, sorry, put you on the spot. You know, like people that like call her like, you know, like that, like the C word. I mean, you don't go there, you know, like, and it's like, you know, and there's a piece of her that I see that goes, okay, that's how it's supposed to be. And then there's the other part that's like, oh, hell no, you know, like the real part. But then there's the part that was programmed, and there's the part that was like, you know, beaten down and beaten down. Are you comfortable, like, not, you don't have to tell the details of it, but like why you were with your childhood twin? This is the thing that I think is the biggest issue with, when you told me about this, that's when I was like, oh, hell no, at the church. When you and your boyfriend got caught kissing when you were.
So when I was probably 16 and my boyfriend's time.
Who you married, right?
Who I married.
Yeah.
We got caught making out on the beach. Nothing else was happening, but I think I had my shirt off. But nothing else. But I was told I was an exhibitionist. I was told that I had basically sexual issues. And even though I didn't have sex until I was married, you know, that was just what we were taught. But it just kind of put an unhealthy spin, I think, in my mind of who I was or what I was, kind of shamed for that. And then, of course, when him and I got fellowshipped, you know, later, it got even worse after that, just because you felt like you had this scarlet letter the rest of your life. And then I felt like energetically that pulled in a bunch of.
But what did the church do? Didn't you have to go in front of them?
Yeah,
she had to go in front of like 4 men.
So the way that part of it works is when you do something basically scripturally against their beliefs, you have to go in front of a committee of 3 men. It's never women. They select them. You don't get to, it could be 3 people you most likely have never talked to before. You have to tell them in detail everything that you did. They'll ask you questions, I think, completely inappropriate.
Like how you felt and like what they were doing.
Very like specific where they touched you, what you eat, all of that. They write notes about it. They make a file about it. And then they supposedly pray about it and decide what your fate will be. And they'll say, okay, well, you're not repentant enough, or we feel like you need to be disfellowshipped, you know, to keep the congregation clean. It was definitely probably the most traumatic experience of my life, just dealing with that experience in itself.
While your parents were sitting out in the hallway.
Yeah, they couldn't be in there.
Yeah.
Because I was an adult at the time.
Oh,
technically, even though I was only, you know, a teenager at the time, and then they came.
You were like 3 years older than Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
that's like that's.
I mean, we're gonna get into this. I think.
Yeah. So anyway,
that's the overview. This is where we're starting.
So there's lots more, and I'm sure.
There's lots more. I've
heard lots of more. I've heard.
There's a lot more. I don't want to give it all away.
Yeah,
I don't want to give it away because I think this is going to be a fascinating series. I think we can do this with the Jehovah's Witness. I think we can do it.
Yeah.
I think this is just the beginning of something really big that we can explore together. And
there's energetically, like whenever she gets in these relationships, I always see that 16-year-old going like, oh my gosh, I'm such a whore, I'm such a whore, I'm such a whore. Like I'm like, or what was the word you used? Not scarlet letter, exhibitionist. I'm an exhibitionist and I'm this, I'm that. It's kind of like the scarlet letter thing. That's the story, you know. So energetically we get stamped. And Amy's going to go to work, but I'll explain kind of like, Courtney's going to do like a little interview with me, like about energetically, like how that affects us and stuff like that. But like, I love you. Thank you. Okay. All right. She's going to go be amazing and do hair. If you need hair done, get it done with Aimee. Cheat on your hairstylist. So bad. Okay. So, love you, girly. Okay, I'll text you in a little bit. Let us know when you can come back, okay? She's literally across the street from us. And then we'll be doing hair here at Intuition. We have like a water spigot outside, so we're going to get like a sink set up. And also that's the kids area too. So we're going to have her here, and then we're going to get our intuitive Botox people, like for the medical spa stuff. And then we've got our intuitive massage therapists that are also numerologists and Reiki readers and stuff like that that'll do readings afterwards. So it's pretty awesome. But all of this will be broadcast on, I believe, on Patreon. So if you want to watch the shows that we're going to be doing, it's the IM network. It's going to be like, I am Aimee, I am Marissa. What you looking for? Just knock. Just get it. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. That's the lady, the Freedom from Cults lady. Okay. Aimee, that's the lady I wanted you to meet anyways. That's exactly who I wanted her to meet. Yeah. That lady was a Jehovah's Witness from the time she was like 20 on. So her company is literally like Freedom from Cults. So anyways. So yeah, you guys go to Patreon. It's patreon.com/Discovering Intuition. And that's where we're going to broadcast this stuff for now. And then obviously get our own servers and all that type of stuff. And then actually creating an app out of it Courtney's just my savior because okay, so Courtney, yeah, Courtney makes promos and she works on a show called The Real, and she comes to me for a session, and I had no idea what she did, and it's funny because I kept seeing visions of her holding a trophy, but then I would see this other girl Jessica holding a trophy, and you're like, hey, you saw the same vision for her, but then I saw it with all these other people, and it's like a documentary that we do or something like that. Yeah. But anyways, the other day I'm going oh my God, I got to make my promo video for Hay House. I'm freaking out. She goes, that's what I do, right? And I was like, no. She's like, I told you 5,000 times. I'm like, oh, sorry. I was in guide mode. And she throws me into guide mode because she likes to ask me lots of questions. But Courtney was the one that was here asking the questions the other night when we were channeling. Did you want to ask some questions right now about energetically how all that stuff works or anything? Or?
I think we have a lot to get into. I think we need to absorb what we talked about with her real quick.
Her guides are in my field. So I have to say it. So basically they're just saying that otherwise I'm going to sit with this in my field all day long. So there's nothing to think about for me. I just need to get out of my field. But so basically what they're saying is that everyone who's in a religion or indoctrinated into a religion is living in the Hunger Games. It's like the Hunger Games. There's a bubble. Yeah. It's kind of anyone that's in a religion is in their own Hunger Games kind of bubble type thing. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. If you were living,
does that go for every religion?
Every single one. Every single belief has its own Hunger Games. So whether it be whether it be a religion, whether it be like Kat the other day, she was in the keto. She had this weird thing around her, and she kept gaining weight, and I kept seeing ketogenic written on her, and I didn't know about the ketogenic diet. And she says, "Oh, I did the ketogenic diet." So when we put all of our self,
that makes your beliefs into anything.
Yes, when you put your belief into anything other than you as your divine consciousness, yourself, your I am network, as your I am, and you begin to define yourself as anything, a company. That's why some people get in fights and kill people over sports teams, because they're so they define themselves by the sports team and they become a part of that field. So when you drop down into your second chakra, which is where all these fields are, they're saying, because the second chakra is nasty, it's gross, it's ugly, nobody wants to be there because it's it's where when you break up with someone, you go there and you turn into your little kid, and it's your emotional body. It's
you have said I did that with Chris when I was writing for his website, that I took on ownership of the company.
Oh, really? Uh-huh. See, I don't remember.
And that's what brought me to breathwork.
Oh, okay.
To release that stuff. So you take on whatever you take on an association with whatever it is you're associating with, whatever you affiliate yourself with. Now, do you do that also with a relationship or with whatever you say I am?
Anything that you say I am, but enough to where you're so for you, for instance, she's got a dream. So no, you, for instance, would be you want to get married, you want to have a kid, you already have the kids in your head, you already have the life in your head, you just have the man with the question mark on his face, You've got the cutting the cake, the kid in your hand, you've got the whole field, and that's your Hunger Games. So you're in there, but there's no one in there with you, and so you're wandering around in this field with this story, looking for someone to come into it. So when you get into a relationship, you pull them into your field.
Is that the overlay?
No. An overlay would be an overlay would be you seeing that as real life. Yes.
So, but if you're saying we're in this bubble, this Hunger Games bubble, essentially you're saying it's almost like a snow globe. It's like a force field around you.
Yeah, we are. We all are in our snow globes, which is why I love the snow globe. We have our story in there. And so with relationships, you're trying to find someone to slip into it to make it complete, where it shouldn't need someone else, because somebody else with the same story you're going to find. And it's just going to be oh, okay, these match.
Will it be more like a bubble where they, when bubbles come together, they either latch onto each other and go on, or they merge and become a bigger bubble?
One.
You know what I'm saying? Is that kind of what you want to happen? Not even with relationships, but how does religion fit into that with someone like Aimee?
So Aimee has gone through so much stuff, and she can get into it. I'm not going to share her private business, but she has gone through so much based on the fact that, and I'll just share one thing, is she'll share this, but when she was born, they're not allowed to take blood, And what I find is very interesting is the Jehovah's Witnesses are very smart when it comes to energetically speaking, because when you take someone's blood, you take on a hologram of them.
Okay.
So when you take on somebody's blood, you actually take on their consciousness, their awareness. You take on, they are in you. So it's kind of like you're possessed by the person. But it's if it's not part of your path to have that there, it's just boom, it's gone. You know, like, or if your frequency is different, but there is a layer of us down where they are trying to keep people down in that 144,000 souls. I did not know this. The 144,000 souls down in that area down there, where like the person that they got blood from may not be a Jehovah's Witness, so they may make them decide, oh, I want to go be Christian or Baptist or whatever, and take them out of that religion. So take them out of that bubble, because now they have something else in their mind, programming their mind. This is our subconscious. 144,000 is our subconscious mind. Interesting. Anyways, so the this channeling we did the other nights on Patreon that we were talking about. But with the religion, if they when she was born, she was going to die, and somebody mysteriously gave her blood against her mom's will. Like they were going to let her die because they said, well, if she wasn't supposed to live, she wasn't supposed to live. So from the very time she was born, they were just going to let their baby die. But I think it was a family member that did it, but she doesn't know. She still doesn't know who gave her blood or whatever. But so maybe that's why she's the only one in the family that doesn't want to be Jehovah's Witness. Or
it's the same thing as transplants. People with get a heart transplant or a liver transplant, they take on the essence of that person.
I've done healings for people where I'll be like, okay, so you're like Gail, she doesn't have her spleen.
Yeah.
And I actually could see that her spleen was like outside of her talking to me. But then I've also seen like people inside of people, and I'll be like, there's a woman inside of like your, inside your liver talking to me, and she's talking about this, and this, and I'll be like, oh, that's not my liver, that's someone else's liver. So yeah, so I mean, energetically, but I mean, when people there's people out there going like, oh my God, I had this transplant, or I had this, I had that. That doesn't matter. It's only if you're down in those levels, and that's down in the root chakra, and that's where politics and religion and even like, I love that everyone's coming out with the Me Too movement, but the Me Too movement is Me Too, and boom, Hunger Games. Now they're all in there. Now they're.
Well, the Me Too has actually been. It's not even what it was.
Yeah.
It's been adjusted. So
I've been seeing a lot of people that were a part of that, and it's like cutting a cord to that field.
Yeah.
Because then it's for the first time in your life you're feeling defined by something. So now you're going to define yourself by something that happened to you 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago.
Bad.
Yeah, and it's bad, rather than focusing on, who you are without that.
Right.
And so there's so much when it comes energetically to this stuff that we define ourselves by. Even people that go to Akashic record readers, they'll go and they'll be like, oh, I was Queen Elizabeth in a past life. And then they start acting like, oh, they take on that thing. They're like, oh, I'm Queen Elizabeth. And then they start acting like, oh, I was this and I was that, and you're my subservient people. And really people take it on because we can't define ourselves when we are 14, 15, 16, 17, and we're in our solar plexus, which is where kind of like those bubbles that we create about ourselves should be. That's like when she went through that thing with those nasty men, like asking her about all this stuff and everything. So she got trapped down in the root chakra in a bubble that was the Jehovah's Witness bubble. So the Jehovah's Witness bubble basically had, it's the earth is in there, all the people are in there, like everything's in there. And our consciousness is trapped in there. And just like I teach everyone, wherever your consciousness is, that's how your body's going to respond, on some level. But if you're above and you're connected to your higher self, and you're at least up to like your Christ consciousness up here, then you don't have to worry about all the stuff that's down there. Does that make sense? Because I don't want to worry people that have had like blood transfusions or like transplants.
The ultimate goal is to learn to raise up and identify with our own I am, nothing else. Know where to draw boundaries between where we work, how we identify ourselves, and learn to identify as I am, and that's what you're going to teach us.
And yeah, but the I am is still a piece. The I am is still like, like Madison does not have an I am right now. Right. So Parker is 6 months old. He's source. So he is source just streaming through a body. His brain is being programmed by us. Everything we say is being recorded in his brain and going into his little, snow globe, his little matrix. So when he goes, basically flips, and he's going up into his second chakra, which is when kids start acting out, like 3, 4 years old. because they start to have an opinion and they start to people please. They start to see like, oh, wait, that person's sad when I say this. I'm not going to say it anymore. Or I'm going to go, that's okay, because the way that they feel is the way we feel, because we still don't have an I am. We're still everyone else. So then what we're doing is we learn to people please so that we feel good. It's always about us. People pleasers are not people pleasers because they care about anybody else. They care about themselves. They care about feeling good about themselves, because if you're happy with me, then I'm happy. You know, like me the other day at the coffee shop trying to heal that lady because she thought we were annoying.
Right.
You know, like I wanted to people please her so that she wouldn't think that we were bad and that I was some devil worshiper because I was an energy healer, because you were talking about it in public. And I was like, oh. So the I am, once we get up past like the I am my family, I am my town, I am my, you know, all that stuff, and we break up like eight-ish is when we start to get like our own personality. And that's when the Mormon church, free will only, baptizes people when they're 8. So the Mormon church then puts you in the Mormon church bubble so that you can't discover who you are without being in the bubble.
But
it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. Mormons, half my family is Mormon. My mom is married to someone whose entire family is Mormon. I'm Mormon, nothing wrong with it. I'm just talking energetically, us becoming self-realized as God beings.
That was my question that I thought we were going to get into, that we will get into when we talk about her. Where's the difference between, because it's Jehovah's Witness does sound a little bit in some ways to me, now I'm not an expert on religion, a lot like Mormonism. Mm-hmm. In very basic terms. And so that's why I was like, where does this end?
Both of them,
they're very strict religions.
I've studied both of them. So I've channeled what I've channeled. And what I've channeled, you could say, is the ancient scriptures of like the Mormonism stuff, like the oldest stuff, and the 144,000 souls. But Jehovah's Witnesses say, you're the chosen 144,000 souls that have come here to, you know, live on earth forever as a paradise. Well, we all know if you say like I am now me, show me what the third dimensional earth looks like, it's freaking Armageddon right now. I mean, it's literally like
you didn't have to tell me that. I already knew what you were going to say.
Oh, I thought we did that last time.
We did. But you didn't have to say it.
Yeah.
Like I knew
so if you do that right now, just that, you know, like I am now me, show me what third dimensional earth looks like. It's literally Armageddon. So if you're here in your life, then you've been saved. You weren't left behind. But the Jehovah's Witness, it's more like their consciousness is trapped down there because there's beings that have cut off from source energy that do not have their own source connection, that need our source connection to continue to live in this virtual reality or whatever. Like when I was with Aimee one time, I saw this guy and this girl, and they were like this, like laid back, totally naked. It was funny, the fig leaf. Oh, yeah, they had the fig leaf. I think she had, no, they had the fig leaf. But they were laying on a beach, and he was like, I don't know, you just make sure they keep pumping out babies, and then we can continue to live the dream. It was Adam and Eve, and they were sitting up like on like a beach, like drinking margaritas, laying on the beach, like chilling, because if we are living in a dream, if this is just a dream, it's a real dream. You know, I mean, when you dream, you really have real emotions. And I mean, how do we know whether it's real or not? You know, just like all those movies, you know, where it's like, you know, you don't know whether you're awake or not. And that's why I like my little
Inception.
Inception. And then that other movie that's out right now called The Discovery, where Robert Redford, where the guy from, what is that show called? How I Met Your Mother. His dad is Robert Redford. And basically everybody on the planet's killing themselves because he's come to a scientific conclusion that consciousness goes on. So like at the end of the movie, you're like, oh my God, is that what's going on? Like it's, you know, are we just, and the guides have told us we're in a loop. This is the 19th time we've done this same life over and over and over. So are we one person stuck in purgatory? And are we just thoughts in one person's head? Who knows? So, and is Christ coming down to save us all? Or, you know, whatever. I was just listening to this preacher on the radio, and he was going like, God so loved the world that he gave his only son. And I literally was energetically seeing the top of the Kabbalah tree, someone standing outside of the Kabbalah tree. And I was seeing like someone going, you know what? All of my little pieces of consciousness are trapped down there in that little triangle down there. They think that it's real. They think it's reality. They think that they're discovering stuff, just like Louise when she came in, and it was like, now that I'm here, I realized we got it all wrong. We got it all wrong. We got it all wrong. And she's like freaking out, talking about, you can't be a spirit. and a human at the same time. You have to metamorphosize. Like, you can't be a caterpillar and butterfly at the same time. You can't. And so we walk around going, I'm a spirit in a human body and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we have to transform. And that's part of the I am. Becoming the I am, raising up out of all of those fields that we've been indoctrinated like into,
right.
you know, and by getting up there and tuning into our higher self, which is that person that sent his only son down to save us.
Right.
And so what I was seeing was that up there. And then I saw that top of that tree send down like almost like the North Star down to this tree down here, and it shot out white light, created the Holy Spirit. And then I saw that golden thread start from the bottom, which was Christ. And we did channeling the other night called the white thread, the golden thread, and the silver thread. And so it's almost like this God being went, you know what, all of my consciousness, it'd be like watching a movie, and every time you watch it, a little piece of you gets stuck in it. And then you watch another movie and you get stuck in it. And then you're in a coma. And you have like nothing left in your brain. So your counsel or whoever created you says, okay, check it out. This is what we're going to do. We're going to let you go into the game. You're going to remember everything that you know. You're going to go into the game. You're going to go gather up all your pieces, and you're going to come back. Well, they said Jesus is the only one that's fallen and come back. But that, like Lucifer, you know, all like the fallen beings, they come down and they're like, oh my God, all my buddies over there that are like way smarter than me, like are like dumbasses down here. They don't even know it's me. And they're like, ooh, I'm a burning bush. And then like, you know, like they like mess with the us's that are living in the virtual reality. And then we go, oh my God, it's God. Let's worship it, you know? And then that being that was sent down to go get all its pieces, they said after 3 days, they lose their source connection. So they no longer have batteries. So they have to plug in somewhere. And because they don't have the earth to plug into like we do, because we have a physical body, because we're living in a physical being that's separate from us, because we're cosmic beings, they lose their cosmic connection. They don't have a physical body. So they will create religions, and everybody that's part of that religion is charging them up. So then they can just live in this reality and pretend like, you know, whatever, and create their own worlds and create their own realities, which there's nothing wrong with it, because there's no reason to get angry over it. I hear people getting angry. It's not anger. It's same with the people that go like, oh, the government knows, and
right.
We chose this. Like, we planned this entire life. We are that guy out there that sent down his only son
right.
to get the little pieces of us. So it's almost like our time travel class tonight. It's like going back and getting those little pieces of us. Like, you could go back to like your 2.5-year-old, you know, in the past when she had her crown on, and she's beauty queen, you know, she was beautiful little baby. Like, she could go back right now as consciousness and be like, hey, check it out. It's okay if you eat potato chips and be lazy. And then maybe she wouldn't have to find a bunch of guys that eat potato chips and be lazy so that she can be her shadow. No, but yeah, so I guess we're going to cover all of this stuff in that we're going to do. Courtney's going to do what Courtney does, because Courtney's awesome at everything she does. And I'm just going to let her do what she does. And then I'm just going to show up and do the reading. But yeah, it's so fascinating when we start to see all of the little bubbles that we're in, just, I guess, to be in line with everything I do. Like, if you want to, and this is the guides going through this thing, you can say, I am now my original source. And just imagine that you're your original source. And I am whole. So just imagine that you're just your physical body now represents, I am my original source, and I am now whole. And now I want you to say, show me where Courtney is. Where do you see Courtney? Inside of you.
Back here.
Okay. Let me see. Show me where Marissa is. Marissa's over here on my knee. Show me where Archangel Michael is. Right there. Okay. Do it again. I am now whole, and I am my original source. Show me where Archangel Michael is. Yeah. It's like in there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Or show me where my mom is. So see, she's in your foot, in your root chakra, and the 144,000 souls that the Jehovah's Witness are the chosen ones. That's when we fall into one of our fragmented little pieces. So when we're in our foot, the people that are in our foot, that's why we get that like,
oh yeah.
You know, because our brain starts to read adrenaline rush, adrenaline rush, adrenaline rush, and then the cortisol starts going, and then all the neurotransmitters that I see is like those those British soldiers come marching out to meet you, the angels. So like our body is a hologram of like all of that. So like the neurotransmitters are actually like our angels. You know, those 4 kings that a lot of people see are the 4 lobes of our brain. Our spinal cord is the 0 light line. So it's like on every level we're those Russian nesting dolls. On every level we're complete. So if you do the I am my original source and I am whole, and then ask where stuff is within you, you'll see like where you are, and that's all based on emotion. So when you drop, so when you start going up here with Archangel Michael and where you, I mean, that's high, you're up there, I'm down here on my knee. You know, that's like regrets, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
I had a lot of healings this week. So.
Yeah, but I'm the teacher and I'm down on my knee. I must be in someone else's energy. No, I'm just kidding. No, I've got my addiction issues and I've got all that stuff. So it's like just because someone's a teacher, it doesn't mean that they're ascended or self-actualized. But so as we move up in our body where we are, and if your ego is going, oh, I'm up here on my crown, ask which density you're in. I just heard someone go, oh, I'm in my crown, and they're like very like arrogant. So you have to ask which density you're in, because each density or each like soul level brings on the whole another reality. So we have an actual chart that I want to do a show on too, where it's every single density and a hologram of a person in every single religion, where they are, where their source is, who their Godhead is, and all of that. And Judaism is the oldest and the highest. And that's what you said. I think seek. Not seek. No. It just took a picture on its own.
It's acting up.
It's possessed.
It's frustrating.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let me see who's on here. Hi, Lisa. Hey, everyone. Everyone's saying hi. Someone says, what does being in your knee mean? She's probably in her knee. It's just I teach all about it in Reiki, and I teach about it all in my Reiki class. So if you guys are interested in taking classes, my Wednesday night class is tonight. It was a $150 class, made it $30 if you get the coupon code on Patreon. So if you go on to patreon.com, patreon.com/discovering intuition, or just search my name, you'll get the coupon code. You can come to class. You get the diamond light attunement, which is like the strongest cutting tool in the world, the strongest like substance, right? Aren't diamonds like the strongest unbreakable thing?
I mean, that's what they use to cut glass and stone.
And so we're going to cut cords, and everyone's going to be given this attunement for the diamond tonight. And it takes me a lot of energy. So if you're like a $55 member of Patreon and you watch the classes after the fact and email me before and get your healings each week, I can't do the attunement afterwards. I'd have to sit here and like get my energy out of my knee all the way up to my crown and out into my real self in order to do these attunements. So when I'm on the radio and when I do my classes, I get boosted up out. Right. So I can just be like, heal, 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 and it's fast. But if it's in me, it would take like 15 hours to do the attunement. So if you can't come to class, just sign up for class, pay the $30, get the attunement, and then watch class later. So anyway, all right. So we're going to go, and Courtney's going to boss me around, and we're going to, it's exciting, right?
To be the boss today.
I know, you are. You always are the boss. She's always the boss. Even when she's whining, she's the boss, because the conversation's about you.
Sorry.
That's okay. I don't like to talk about all my stuff. So let's see here. Yeah. So Lana, just look up the chakras. Well, if you're coming to Reiki 2, Lana, then that's exactly what we learned about. Reiki 2 is this weekend, by the way. Oh, one announcement. Well, I have a couple people on here is, if you've taken Reiki from me before, like Reiki 1 or 2 or master or teacher or whatever, this weekend I'm allowing people to retake it, even if you've taken Reiki 1, because I'm doing the I am Reiki attunement, because the planet shifted in March. So your Reiki may feel a little like it's not working, or you may feel like you're needing to go to other modalities. And it's because it's the I am Reiki. We're getting into the I am self out here and invoking Reiki from there. But Reiki is down in the 2nd and 3rd level. Like it's down in the 4th dimension, which is down here, which is where we were before. But now Earth is up here, so we're up here. And that's why 3rd dimensional Earth looks like burned Armageddon, you know. So anyways, the attunements, I'm going to do the upgraded attunements on anyone. So if you want to take the class, it's online, or you can come in person. Class is $400. The retakes are $250. So if you've taken it before and you want to take it and get the attunement to get your upgraded Reiki, then let Marla know. Okay? See you guys later. Let's see.